Okay, welcome. We've got a number of people joining us here, like a good event. I'm not a very timely person in my world, so I show up right on time and a couple minutes late, whether it's in person or virtual. So we'll give some time for participants to do the same, though hopefully just another minute or two. Thank you to the staff, faculty, and employees who are joining us. A couple of our panelists were coming on their lunch breaks, and we're going to be right on time or a little bit late, depending on childcare or work schedules. Today is also Veterans Day, so that is a good point of acknowledgement. First Gen Week has kind of generally coincided with Veterans Day. Technically, First Gen Day is November 8th, which celebrates the signing, I think 55 years ago, if I have my math right, of the Higher Education Act. So that date varies. This year it fell on a Sunday, for example. And Veterans Day always falls on the 11th, so those fall together. But a good acknowledgement to any of our veterans who are with us. Happy Veterans Day. I know I have several in my life. Today is also my, this is perhaps not relevant to any of you directly, but today is also my 7-year-old's birthday. So that's exciting to me. He's requesting pancakes for dinner tonight after he gets picked up from first grade. So
happy birthday to him.
Yeah, pancakes it'll be. Suppose we should think about cake and ice cream too, but I was thinking about pancakes first. So welcome to everyone who's joining us. Carrie will keep manning the waiting room for us, and we'll go ahead and get started by talking a little bit about while we're gathering and a little bit about what else the college is doing this week. My name is Beth Clemens. I'm the director of the TRIO Student Support Services Program for the Fort Wayne campus. We are starting our 16th year of service to students who are first generation, students with disabilities, and students who are low income at the Ivy Tech Fort Wayne campus. So TRIO is funded by a federal grant that was authorized in 1965 with the very first version of the Higher Education Act, which, by the way, is actually the genesis of many student financial aid programs as well. It was the civil rights era, the war on poverty, Lyndon Johnson's war on poverty, and was really a time in our country where doors were attempting to be opened for different populations for which doors had historically been closed. So we are celebrating the 55th signing of the Higher Education Act, which is the genesis of TRIO programs. And in honoring that signing date of November 8th, which falls on a Sunday, we've kind of enacted a week-long set of activities and remembrances and so on and so forth. Someone just put in the chat that Job Corps may have, I don't know the history of Job Corps, so I'll have to take your word for it, Jacob, that Job Corps may have been a thing within that same time frame. So we're gathering today to hear from a panelist of students and staff about first generation college student experiences and resources. Let me share the flyer for our event today. Somebody let me know if I'm not doing that successfully. So we will gather for a conversation for approximately an hour. And then around 2 o'clock, we hope to offer a resource portion of today's event with a number of different offices that we'll have set up in kind of the breakout room function of Zoom, and you can meet with these different areas. A lot of the first generation experience, and you'll hear about this from our panel, but a lot of that experience is using resources, which, let's be honest, that's a good practice whether you are first generation or you are a continuing generation student. I was a first generation college student back in the day, in theory, that will make my children continuing generation students, which is just as important, because if they don't continue the legacy of higher education, then their children become first generation all over again. So it's important to have a continuing experience within higher ed for families as well. And a great way to do that is to make sure you're tapping into resources. So that'll be kind of the ending portion of our event today. But I also want to highlight some of what else the college has going on this week. And I'll stick it in the chat again. This is the URL, which takes us to a nice summary of what is going on this week. And I'll pull it up as well. Assuming that screen share worked, you should be looking at a web page. Some resources that the college makes available to us, hosted, sponsored, organized by the Student Life Office. We have some social media stickers that you can grab. Obviously, we're participating in this panel event right now, but we also have an essay contest going on this week and next week, and it is an honor. We're dedicating it to Felicia Henry Nalon, who was the trio coordinator for our program, and she passed away right at the start of the fall semester. So this was actually an idea of hers that she wanted to do in years past that we were just not able to get off the ground. So we decided to do it this year in her memory. She was a trio alumni from Grand Rapids Community College in Michigan, their trio student support services program, and then worked for our trio program for 7 years before she passed. So there's an essay contest going on this week and next week. You don't have to be just first gen to participate. It's open to continuing gen as well as first gen students. So you can read some more about that. Later on today, we have a Scholarship 101 event presented in partnership with Goli Amigos, 5:15, also via Zoom. So there's some information on that. Tomorrow, there is a virtual social services fair organized by Chris Dawson, and some community organizations are going to come and be available and speak about the assistance that's available. So a number of things going on during First Gen Week, which again, you can get through the URL that I have put in the chat for you. Let me jump real quick to my agenda and see if I've forgot to include anything. We talked about the Higher Education Act, which is the genesis of First Gen Day and First Gen Week. This event is also brought to you by the TRIO Leadership Council, which is the student organization that's part of the TRIO program. The 2 TRIO staff serve as the advisors for this student org, but it's really a student initiative led to support the program and its marketing, but also to organize leadership functions and activities for students who are members of the program, or just Ivy Tech students in general. They don't necessarily have to be TRIO students in order to participate in TRIO Leadership Council. So without further ado, Carrie, would you like to introduce our student speakers? I know we have at least 2 of them with us.
Yes, I think we have 3 of them and 1 joining here in a little bit. And then we have 2 staff members too. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Carrie. I'm the TRIO coordinator with our program. I have 3 students that are going to share a little bit about their experiences as being first gen. I will say their names, and then when I ask some of the panel questions, I'll let them tell a little bit more about themselves. But we have Zachary Canapeel, if you want to give a wave or a hi. Kyng So.
Yes.
Awesome. And Jacob Thompson. And then for staff, we have our program specialist, Brian Williams. And our TRIO support specialist, Sonia Strom. Awesome. Thank you guys. And then I may have an additional student that is going to join here in a little bit. And if she does, I'll introduce her, at that time too. Starting then first with our students, The first question I would have is to introduce yourself and to tell us about the degree you earned at Ivy Tech or are earning, and kind of what you're currently doing, if you transferred, if you're a current student. So why don't we start with you, Zach? And do remember to unmute so that we don't miss things. I know that's the hard one with Zoom. It might be an audio issue. I'll go to Kind, and then you can maybe figure out the audio issue for that. Kind, do you mind sharing about what you're pursuing here at Ivy Tech?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kai, and I came from Thailand, and English is my second language. So I have 5 siblings, and I have been living in here almost 5 years. I am the one of the Ivy Tech student, and this is my sophomore year. I took my pre-required classes such as math, English, anatomy, like a public speaking classes, psychology. My major is medical assisting. I earned my intro or demotion certificate, CPR certificate, and nutrition and wellness certificate. After this fall 2020, I'm taking medical assist. At this fall 2020, I'm taking the CNE classes and medical assistant classes. I know that CNE is not required for medical assistant program, but I just want to have some basic experience in the healthcare field. So I'm just taking the CNE classes. I was in the dean list for 2019 and spring 2020 and summer 2020. My current GPA is 3.76. I hope I will be in the dean list for fall 2022.
Awesome.
At the end of this fall 2020, I will get my CNE certificate, pre-nursing certificate, and healthcare specialist technical certificate. My goal is to get my associate degree of science in medical assisting. After I graduated from Ivy Tech, I will start working as a medical assistant at the hospital or doctor clinic. Yeah, TRIO program is always here to help me and supporting me whatever I need help. So Ivy Tech and TRIO program is the best for me to achieve my goal.
Thank you, Kind. Thank you for sharing. Zach, if your audio is working, could you share? Or he might have dropped off actually. Well, that is okay. I'll jump to you, Jacob. Jacob Thompson, if you could share a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
So, I graduated in 2019 with my Associate's of Science in Legal Studies. I graduated magna cum laude with a 3.8 GPA. I was vice president of our student council and co-president at one point with the TRIO student council. And I graduated and got a full tuition scholarship to University of Southern California. And that is where I am at now. I am a junior. I just got rid of the LSAT last week.
Awesome.
That sucked.
Yes,
that was terrible.
That was trying.
How's the weather today, Jacob? Or maybe you should.
You guys are probably warmer than we are. Just wait till December. I bet you I'll be laughing then.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing, Jacob. Zach, we'll see if your audio is working.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's
Rural
okay.
internet is not the greatest.
That is all right. If you wouldn't mind just sharing kind of your experience at Ivy Tech and kind of what you're doing now.
Sure. I am, well, let's say I'm currently going to Ivy Tech as well. I received my Associate of Applied Science in Agriculture. Graduated, I believe, magna cum laude, 3.92 GPA. I'm a first gen student as well as a disabled student. I'm currently going for the Associate of Science transfer degree as well, because I figure why not? I'm a glutton for punishment. I've already transferred to Purdue Fort Wayne and Purdue Lafayette online to try and go on for, they have a new Bachelor of Applied Science program that I'm in. And I am the Farm Operations and Facilities Manager for Joseph DeQuee's Wagyu Farm and Joseph DeQuee's Holdings and Buildings. So I have managed a farm and about 25 other properties that we own. I came to first gen to college actually completely by accident. I went to college right out of high school, took a semester, decided it really wasn't for me. Went into the building trades and was in the building trades for a couple of years, enlisted in the military, was injured with my knees, got medically separated from there. So upon coming back to the civilian world, I went back to the trades again. In 2013, I was almost killed in a job site accident. So it left me disabled and no longer able to perform my career. So I said, man, what am I going to do? Back to college it is. I've always liked farming. I've always been involved in farming and grew up on a farm. So that's kind of naturally gravitated towards that through some of the programs like Voc Rehab. They kind of steered me in that direction, and between that and the VA and some of the other programs out there like Trio and that, I found out, and obviously DSS, student services, managed to make it through. And not only did I survive, I strived. So,
Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for your service, especially today and for Veterans Day. So we thank you.
yeah, I've been trying to stay out of work, but it hasn't been going real well. I keep calling me in for stuff.
Yes, happy Veterans Day, Zach.
Thank you.
And then we also have Tanisha Thomas joining us. She's our Leadership Council Vice President. And Tanisha, I know missed a little at the beginning. I'm just having students introduce themselves, share kind of what they're doing at Ivy Tech.
Share what we're doing at Ivy Tech. Yeah. Right now, a lot of Zooming. We're all doing Zooming Ivy Tech. I'm hoping to finish up here at Ivy Tech. That's what I am currently doing. As you said, I'm in Leadership Council, which I love a lot. It is a close-knit family, I think, in a sense, or I don't know, I'm speaking for myself. It has really helped me as far as, being a first gen student. I don't know if you guys went over anything like as far as like the pros and the cons of actually being, like a first gen student, but I think it helped me a lot with my cons, like with not having like a huge support or not even knowing like where to start at, because that's something that you struggle with being a first gen student. You might not have the exposure or whatever, like to know what it's like to actually be in college, to know where to start to do anything. And Trio has been that for me, the starting point. Like an overall help. I would say like some of the pros in that is just that that your best days are actually going to be ahead of you. Like the hard part is actually just getting started. So yeah.
That is excellent advice, Tanisha. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
You're
to our
welcome.
Staff. Oh, to our staff panelists, Brian and Sonia, a question that I kind of have directed for you guys is, why do you think that recognizing first generation students is significant or something important for us to do as an institution and as a Trio program, really? Brian, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can. I think, well, being a Trio student myself from Purdue Fort Wayne, I think it's great to recognize them because some of them need just that little bit of validation that TRIO gives them to help solidify the fact that they should be going, and encourage them to go and do as well as they can do, because TRIO really fills in the blanks, like as far as tutoring. I know I speak of the tutoring all the time, but at Purdue Fort Wayne, we didn't have all that tutoring. So, and it was free here too. But anyway, they give them a lot of tutoring, and plus they listen to you, because I know I listen to a lot of the students and I really care. And I feel like the students need that so that they can be okay enough to go and do their homework or go and pay a bill or whatever they need to do to keep their walk one foot in front of the other. We're here for that. And that's what I really, really like about the program here at Ivy Tech. And it's very different from Purdue Fort Wayne. So those of you that are going to Purdue Fort Wayne, you may have to ask Beth for a waiver to come back over for the TRIO program.
That's funny. Thank you for sharing, Brian. Sonia, do you have anything on in regards to that question of why you think it's significant or important for us to celebrate first-gen students?
Yes, I was a first-gen student before they ever called us first-generation students. And I realized how important it is to have a program for those of us who go to college who had no background in family, even to talk about going to college, because we were poor. I got a diploma in high school. It was a double diploma in business and in academics, not knowing what I was going to do. Went to college. There was no one there who really said, look, we have a program here that will help you to understand what it means to go to college and how to study, how to get going in it. In other words, by the middle of my sophomore year, if I didn't make grades that I thought I should have, I was just to go home. And that's not very good for somebody who wasn't very disciplined.
Yeah, that would have definitely been difficult, and to not feel like you had that extra support,
Yeah.
since, like you said, first-gen students weren't likely talked about as much, or, you know, something for it to be celebrated. To our student panelists, and I'll just kind of leave it open where whoever wants to kind of speak on it first can feel free to speak up. But
I can throw something in that I think
oh yeah,
kind of piggybacks off of what Sonia said, and it's one thing I meant to mention in my introduction, but I forgot. You know, higher ed was really designed to be closed to certain populations. If you go back through the history of higher education prior to the Higher Education Act, it was designed to be an exclusive club and framed for the elite and the children of the elite. And so it really was earth-shattering to try and open higher education to populations to which those doors have been closed. And I meant to include this in my introduction, but forgot. Ivy Tech did a podcast devoted to kind of the concept of first gen, and some of that history is talked about on the podcast. So I stuck that link in the chat. I participated on the podcast, but there was other people as well who really spoke to that history quite eloquently. So some additional information, but I think that speaks to what Sonia was talking about in particular, about you either did it or you didn't, and nobody cared if you didn't, because the history of higher ed was historically meant to be a closed door and something meant for the elite only. So thanks for letting me interrupt, Carrie. Not that we necessarily had a choice, but please continue. It was a good moment for me to throw that in.
interrupt whenever, and you can be one of the panelists really too. For the students then, and some of you guys kind of covered it in your introduction, but what is like a challenge you faced as a first gen student, or something that you've learned as a first gen student? And doesn't need to go in any order. If there's anybody that wants to speak to that one first.
I'd love to speak to that. My family traditionally has been involved in the trade several hundred years, and it was just expected. That's what you did. Even back when, they didn't really do high school. When you finished, you went to a trade. It's just the way it was done. So going to college was something that it was an afterthought. No one really pushed for it in my family. It was just kind of a, well, it'd be great if you did, blah, blah, blah. But we were banking on me and my football scholarship, which I did, and then tore my knee up. So that was the end of that. At that point, my graduation party, my dad told me, I don't have the money for you to go to school, so you're going to have to go to work. That's just all there is to it. And I said, oh, okay, great. So I don't think people realize, especially in today's society, we live in a society that has migrated from pushing for craft and trade work and what they call skilled but uneducated labor to so many more opportunities for people with college degrees. And that being said, that leaves a lot of us, behind without resources or anywhere to turn. When I was injured, honestly, it felt like the entire world was stacked against me. I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, my whole world was turned upside down on a Thursday morning, and I had my entire career and pension path and retirement all planned out. And that just kind of evaporated in about, 15 minutes. So first gen students, not just the recognition, but the resources is important. No matter how you get to college, you've been given the opportunity to get there. You need that guidance and most people that are first gen, so they don't have people around them who have had the experience. So they're not there to say, hey, you're going to get through this. Hey, it's only going to be a couple years or 4 years or 6 years, whatever degree you're going for, or however long you're going to school. You don't have those resources. You don't have people saying, well, here, let me help you with this. You're struggling a bit. Like Brian said with the tutoring, everyone in Trio knows I'm pretty autonomous. But the one thing I did take advantage of was I would go to the resource room and get help, every so often, because sometimes it gets overwhelming, and it's like, you want to go ahead and push through it yourself, but it's okay to say, hey, I could use a hand with this, or could you give me a hand with this paper, help me with this math, or whatever the case is. And it's free. And I don't think people understand how great of a benefit that is. I had to get my daughter tutoring in high school. Actually, I hired my math instructor from Ivy Tech to tutor her, and I was more than willing to pay for it. But the fact that we get free tutoring, which that kind of helped me say, it's okay to get tutoring. Obviously, I'm getting it for my daughter, so I get it for myself. Same instructor at the same time. So
I think that's important what you said,
free.
though, like not being afraid to ask for help and use the resources that are there for you.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, I don't want, you feel out of place and this and that, and you shouldn't, because that's the thing with Trio is everybody's there, for the same reason. You're there to succeed. You're not there to fail. And every resource that's in place at Ivy Tech is there to help you succeed. There's really no reason you can't succeed. The resources are there. The people are there. Everything is there in place to help you succeed. And that's what people need to understand is, as a first gen student, you just don't have those outside resources. You don't have those people in your life typically who are going to say, hey, it's not a problem. Yeah, this is going to be a tough semester or whatever, but you'll get through it. We'll help you get through it, because they didn't go to college. They don't know. I don't know. You hand me that. I don't know how to write a paper in MLA or APA format, or I don't understand, trigonometry or calculus. I only went to the 8th grade, and back then the 8th grade was learning how to shoe horses and stuff like that. So it's a huge difference in transition we've made.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing, is just knowing that the resources are available, and it takes such a load off. You know, okay, worst case scenario, I'm going to have to punt and go ask for help. You know, that is huge. Knowing you can go ask for help and you have somewhere to, and because I'm telling you, you know, as many of these first geners know, and especially students with disabilities know, sometimes you feel like you're all on your own. You really are. You feel like the world's stacked against you because we haven't quite caught up on giving, you know, people equal opportunities, as everybody knows from watching the news or media or anything else. And it's terrible. But with that in mind, also, I would like the first gen students to know that there's a lot of opportunity available for you as well, just from the connections you make at the college itself. And depending on what your degree path is in that, you can actually advance your career within the college, which is something, obviously, you know, I've worked on. Brian's from PFW. Did you go to school at Ivy Tech, Carrie? I'm not sure.
I'm an Ivy Tech.
I thought you said you did. Yeah.
Yep. And then transferred. So yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Well,
there's
thank
a lot
you,
of
Zach.
opportunity.
Thank you for sharing all those very wise words with everybody. Kyne or Jacob or Tanisha, do you have anything you want to weigh in terms of a challenge? Jacob?
So I think one of the biggest things, I know this personally myself, one of the big challenges of being a first generation student, and I'm still having a little bit of a problem here because they don't have as good resources as you guys do, is especially coming from high school, coming to college, or in this case, coming from a place where I had the resources to help me when I had problems. Walking into it's like waking up.
Cutting out a little bit, Jacob.
How do I do this?
I think the connection is maybe
Can you hear me?
not very clearly, unless others can, and it's just on my end.
Sounds like static over here.
Do you want to try again, Jacob? Or
Can you guys hear me?
it's just not very clear, but you're welcome to type something in the chat to the point too, Jacob, if that's easier that you're making, just because it's cutting out a bit when you're talking. Just Tanisha or Kyne, do you want to weigh in terms of a challenge or a resource? Kyne?
Yes, I would share some of my experience when I was in high school or when I was in the first year in college. So I faced a lot of, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes, I faced a lot of talent as a first generation during my time as a student in high school. Like when I arrived in US, I was so shy to speak English because this is not my first language. And then I need the interpreter when I have a question to ask the teacher. I never asked the question to my teachers in high school. Like some of the other students, they raise their hand and ask the question, and I didn't do that because I was shy. And you know, if I have a question, I ask the teacher after the period time. So when the students are gone, I ask the question only me and my teacher, so I can ask the question because I was shy, and I was so shy to speak English. I feel like I'm the only one in the world because I don't understand what are they talking about, you know, since I don't what are they talking about. And then I wanted to speak English so bad, and I cried it. And then when I just arrived in US, I had to use a dictionary all the time to translate the words. And then the day by day I realized that like if I don't try by myself, I will not be getting a successful life, and I will need someone help in my entire life. So then I change my lifestyles, and then I try my best to speak English, and I don't need translator no more. Finally, I can speak English, and I never imagined that I will be attending the college in the US. Since I don't have income money and English is not my first language, but I recommend Ivy Tech Community College and TRIO program is here to help me to achieve my goals. And then when I won my first year in college, I was so nervous because I didn't know which classes do I need to add or which classes do I need to take and where do I have to go for the classes, because I didn't know that like they has a CAE tutoring, TRIO sporting resources program. I didn't know that. And then like I didn't even know what is Ivy Land and Ivy, my Ivy. I'm not good at using that website. And then I don't know who is my advisor. I don't know how to add or drop off my classes. I was not good using my Ivy website and Ivy Lam website to look at or search for my grades in class. And then I was so scared to attend the college. And then because English is not my first language, but all of my professor of Ivy Tech College and TRIO program helping me, and then I will not be successful I will not be successful in my life without these two supporting. Ivy Tech Community College is the best college for me, and I choose Ivy Tech because I'm pretty sure believe that Ivy Tech community and TRIO program is going to help me to achieve my goal.
Thank you, Kai. Thank you so much. What a powerful story.
Mhm.
Tanisha or Jacob, anything you want to add?
As far as challenges.
Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you better
Yeah,
now.
I'll have Tanisha go, Jacob, but you're clear now. And then after she goes, you can, okay?
What challenges were you
If you just feel like you've had a barrier or challenge as a first gen student or something you've learned from your experience as a first gen student.
just a lack of role model? I mean, for me, I would say that was a challenge, and just like always like having to feel that, like you're on your own until you're not, like until yeah, until I got to Ivy Tech. Then I really didn't I didn't really feel that way anymore. So I guess I could say I overcame that challenge, but that can be like a really huge challenge when you feel like you have like absolutely no one. As Brian said earlier, sometimes you need validation from someone so that they can tell you that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're headed in the right direction. And I mean, you're making great choices. I mean, the choice to start, I would say that's just the best thing to do. And that can be a challenge alone, just starting, like from where, what point. So yeah, I mean, that was a huge challenge for me because it's been like so many times where I just want to be like, you know what, this can wait, or this can wait, that can wait. But as I've said, like so many times, I was told by Felicia that if give me a second, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay.
I'm with you, girl.
That's I'm feeling it today just because this event is hard without her because it was her
that
thing.
if you're going to struggle, then make it worth it, make the struggle worth it. Find something that's worth struggling for, or don't just struggle, like without anything behind it. If you're struggling, you might as well be doing something, So that's something that I definitely came to, have that like installed like in me, because I've had many challenges. I mean, like I won't go like too deep into my story, but I'm a single mom, and I chose to, continue school so that my daughters would have a role model because I didn't have that. I didn't know where to start. And me just walking into Ivy Tech and walking, into Trio offices, I feel like that was my start. And I mean, an even bigger push came, obviously from Miss Felicia. And those words just stuck with me. And nothing to me even seems like a struggle anymore. I mean, it does, but it's just like, like if I had poop on my shoe, I'm at the point to where I'm like, at least I'm walking, at least I have my shoes on, poop on it or not, like that's just kind of where I'm at. But, I would say, just to go back to the original question, the challenge for me was just starting and not having, like the proper people to look toward to even, see where it is, like where I wanted to head. So
Thank you, Tanisha.
you're welcome. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't be sorry.
So, Tanisha, my first memory of meeting you is at the chalk walk, one of the Welcome Week chalk walks. I think it was Welcome Week.
Yeah, my dad got a kidney that day.
And you like jumped in with both feet, and here you were like running with this chalk walk and doing the design and down on your hands and knees on the, in the nice weather, like making it come alive. Somebody had asked the question in the chat earlier, and I think this is a good point to bring it up. How do we reduce the academic stigma of getting students involved with programming and involved with resources? And I know that was something you did really well. You jumped in with both feet, and there you were, with chalk on the sidewalk.
Yeah. I think it's something that you just kind of got to go for. If we made it a lot easier for people just to, just say we were once them, nobody has all the answers. If we were just that open and that, that vague or transparent and vulnerable at all times, I mean, which 2020 is allowing for us to be, then I think that a lot more people would be successful.
Okay. That's great advice.
Do our staff, either Brian or Sonia or any of the student panelists, have other ideas too on that question about just reducing the stigma and helping students be willing to seek out resources and ask for help?
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that. I'm kind of in a unique position because I can kind of represent faculty mentality as well. Like, is it Kai? Is that how you say her name? I don't want to butcher it.
Kind, right?
Yes.
Kind. Okay. Well, like she stated, her biggest barrier at the time was language. I have a student in the dual enrollment program at Garrett that I teach, who until probably 4 or 5 weeks in.
Zach, I think you forgot to mention that you adjunct for the college as well. So I'll throw that in.
Yeah.
I almost brought it up during your speech when you're listing everything. I'm like, he adjuncts.
I probably did. Yes, I do. For the agriculture department and now for the construction and building technology department as well. So yeah, they're getting my 12 contact hours in a year.
But I interrupted you to clarify that, but you were definitely saying from a faculty perspective.
Right. Yes. I had this kid's dual enrolled, and 4 or 5 weeks into the semester, I knew his English was not the greatest. Fortunate enough that I could speak enough Spanish, and through Google Translate that we could get like his paperwork filled out and all his computer stuff filled out, because there's a lot of that has to happen on like the dual enrollment program and the FERPA statements and blah, blah, blah. So long story short, he didn't speak English hardly at all. And I was talking to him about doing his work and his modules, and he's like, I just can't, basically he's typing it in. I can't read, and it takes forever, and he has to take a picture and screenshot it and then put it in Google Translate. And that was horrible for me to see this, individual struggling. So I immediately got in touch with Nick Goodnight and the contact at the school who's the director of their program, Chad Sutton, and we got it set up to where they reached out to Pearson or whoever, I believe it's Pearson does their modules and everything, and they, through Ivy Tech, they put a program on his computer as well that translates everything for him. And he went from having 0 of his online coursework done to being over half completed with the entire online coursework inside of 2 weeks. He's actually one of the fastest kids that I have doing it. And there was just that barrier. And like Kine was saying, you know, she was, you know, bashful and maybe a little embarrassed and this and that. From faculty standpoint, don't ever be afraid to ask for help. I tell all my students, you know, we are obligated to check our email every 24 hours. I believe it is. It could be 36, but I check mine minimum once a day. Send me an email if you have questions about any of the course content or the classes or any questions in general, resources or who to get in touch with or whatever. You know, most of us have our cell phones or some sort of contact phone listed in the syllabus. You can send an email through inbox or through your My Ivy, whatever the case may be. Do not be afraid to reach out to your instructors and ask these questions, because even though during the week we may only have, like my hydroponics class, I think it's a 3-hour and 50-minute block. I can't get to everybody's questions, but they email me. So during the week, I'll check my emails. I'll see if I have to look something up or something or point them in the right direction. I do that all week long. So, you know, that is the mentality at Ivy Tech. We're here to help you succeed. No, I don't want anyone to fail, and no instructor wants to fail anybody here. I mean, that is not the way this place operates. It's not like, you know, IU or Purdue, Lafayette, or IU Bloomington, where you've got 400 kids sitting in, you know, an auditorium and you're lecturing, and you know, you don't know any of them, and they just email you and you get 500 emails a day or whatever. We know each and every one of you, and it's smaller like family, and that's critical to your success and our success as instructors. Is you have to reach out to us, because we can't help you if we don't know you're struggling.
Exactly.
And if I say, hey, you didn't do so well on this test,
exactly.
Is there something I can do to help? Or maybe, you know, why don't you review this a little bit? We'll go over it, and then I'll let you retake it. But if you say, oh no, nothing's wrong, I'm fine. Well, what am I supposed to do with that? I mean, you get the grade you get, then, you know, that's what you got. But if you tell me I'm really struggling with this section, or, you know, my math isn't the great, this and that, like Kine brought up, you know, there's a CAE, there's people way smarter than me sitting around who, you know, we can point you to get you the help that you need in subjects that we can't help you with. And then those that we're teaching and that, you know, we're proficient in, it's not a problem. I mean, we will do what we need to do to help you succeed. There's no room for failure here. And that's the great thing about Ivy Tech is, you know, it's more of a family type atmosphere with the smaller class sizes and that. So
thanks for sharing that, Zach. Kine, did you, I think maybe unmuted, did you have something you wanted to add to Zach's point?
No, I just say like Zach is exactly saying the truth.
Yeah, that he's saying the truth.
Yes.
And then Jacob, did you want to add about on the challenge question, or just the reducing the stigma for people to seek out help? Any ideas on that?
No, I was just gonna finish what I was gonna say, what I was trying to say when my computer went out. I said what I was saying, the biggest thing about being a first gen that makes it really difficult is when things go wrong, or you're coming in new, it's like waking up to a whole new world and not knowing what the heck you're supposed to do. For instance, when I went into SAP status, if I would have known that when you withdraw from classes, it affects your completion rate and you can lose your financial aid, I would have never done it.
That is a very important point, Jacob.
A couple of things I was thinking about. I was very undisciplined as a student when I went to college, and no one really done anything about it, as you had said, Carrie, before. But I was thinking it's so easy to procrastinate and put it off until tomorrow. And I've thought about that many times. I'll say tomorrow, tomorrow I'll do the homework. And suddenly I think about the fact that suddenly today becomes tomorrow. And I say over and over again, tomorrow. But today becomes tomorrow. And today becomes yesterday. And I say over and over again, do it tomorrow. And those constantly putting it off. And suddenly I get myself into a very difficult position. And I'm in danger of my grade. And if I just take a friend with me who's also struggling with academics, I'm not alone in struggling academics. I was in school on a scholarship. What was my problem? Well, I was having too much fun in school. And I didn't have discipline. Take somebody with you. It's easier when you take somebody else with you. You both need to be doing your work, so go. And reward yourselves afterwards, even if it's going back to wherever you are and you can't afford to go out to any place, just pop popcorn or have something. Just know you have somebody with you to help. Not to fear getting help. I taught school for 50 years, and I took statistics at the college because I knew it was going to be horrible if I went on to get another degree. And so I took the class. It was a horrible class at the college. I knew I wouldn't do well. So I had an 18-year-old in that class of statistics who became my tutor. And I was in my 40s. I was not too ashamed to have an 18-year-old be my tutor. I needed her help. No pride. I needed her help. And it was fantastic.
Thank you for sharing that, Sonia. The question that, since I know we're getting close on time to where we'll be featuring some resource breakouts here soon, but just a question to either the staff panelists or the student panelists, if you could share something really brief on it. If you could give yourself one piece of advice or write one sentence, in a letter to yourself of when you kind of started your first gen journey, what would you tell yourself now? Does anyone have a quick thought on that?
Just do it.
The Nike slogan.
Yes.
She's absolutely right. Just like she was saying about, the struggle in that, it's only here for a little while. I mean, today, does become yesterday. Tomorrow does become today. Don't put it off. Just chisel a little bit, just a little time management goes a long way. 10 minutes a day, 7 days a week is an hour and 10 minutes that you could dedicate to one project or one piece of homework. I mean, you just freed up an hour and 10 minutes by a day. So you can break it up. I mean, he's real good at helping with time management, and I can't remember name, but his little the easy one in that speech, that's pretty amazing. And I've applied that to every class I've taken, to be honest.
Good.
And it works.
Good. Yes, time management. That's a big one.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things I'll take away from Ivy Tech is his figuring the points out and everything, and how to maximize your time the most efficiently. And yeah, that applies everywhere. It doesn't just apply at Ivy Tech.
Definitely for life things as well. Does anyone else have a thought that they would tell themselves now, kind of knowing where you're at in your first gen journey?
Faith over fear. That's it.
Yes.
Pretty much it.
Kyne or Brian?
Only thing I would say is to go at your own pace, because you can hurry up and go slow, so that you can see, because it's your life. And ask the questions that you need to ask, but by the same token, you can look around and listen and see what it is that you may be missing, because someone else may be asking the question, and if they don't, you can ask the question yourself. You may learn how to rephrase the question, or someone may ask and you may not even have to. And if something goes wrong, forgive yourself and move on, because you can't get stuck in your own tracks. That's what I
Thank
think.
you. Thank you for sharing.
Brian, one of my favorite sayings that I like to tell people that you said about getting stuck in your own tracks is the difference between a grave and a rut is the depth. And that's what I tell people all the time. That's the difference between a rut is the depth of the hole. How deep are you willing to dig it? You know? Just keep trugging through.
And when you're digging, maybe you should stop at some point and stop digging before it gets too deep.
Well, if anyone else, if there's not any other thoughts in regards to that question, I was going to start introducing our staff members representing different resources and let them, say a little bit about what their area does. And then for students, oh, go ahead, Carrie.
Hey, Carrie. Carrie from Student Life here, and I wondered if you wanted me to go through tracking the participation.
Yeah,
now,
please
just in
do.
case people don't hang
Please
out
do.
for the breakouts. Awesome. So for all of you who are joining us live, great. Thank you for being here. I'm Carrie Knuth with Student Life, and if you guys logged into this event and you saw the event on the news post, you know that we are giving away a $50 Target gift card, I believe. For participating. So we love that people attend live, but we also like to give some opportunity for people who are watching this event via a recording after it's happened to participate, because we know people have obligations that keep them out during this particular time period. So in order to track your participation, I've gotten a lot of you today who RSVP'd, and I tracked your participation that you're here. Some of you I have not, though. And so in order to track your participation that you're here to be entered into that drawing, here are some steps that you can take to log your participation really quick. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see here. Okay, so if you guys are seeing my screen, there should be a QR code there, and you can do one of two things. You can grab your mobile device and snap this QR code, or if you don't have a mobile device, maybe you're using it right now, you can type in the link link.ivytech.edu/join first gen panel. Either one of those things will take you to our Ivy Life page. You'll get a little note at the bottom that says your participation has been logged, or you might get a note that says you've already logged participation for this event, and that just means that I know who you are. I saw that you RSVP'd, and I already checked you off the list. But not everybody was on the list, or not everybody RSVP'd, or maybe your name isn't clear, so I don't know exactly how to match you up. But we do want you to be added into that drawing. So do one of those two things, either the QR code or the link.ivytech.edu/join first gen panel. Either one of those, both of them do the exact same thing, just to check mark you off that you've been here today and enter you into that drawing. Okay, so since we are allowing some people to view this via the recording, we are extending that participation period out for 2 weeks. That's pretty standard. So we'll be doing that drawing after that time. And at that time, I'll be emailing all the participants to let you know who the winner is. Okay. So thank you everybody for being here. I'll give it back to Carrie to set us up for our breakout sessions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I guess I'll start with Carrie. She's one of the departments you could choose to connect with, and she is with Student Life. Is there anything you want to add, Carrie, on kind of your department, like a quick shout out for the students to know?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm responsible for student life, but the other thing that we do in our office is we oversee student organizations like Trio Leadership Council, but we also have up to 25 other student organizations that are available both here in the Fort Wayne and in the Warsaw campus, and I can help connect you to those areas if you just kind of want to get involved on campus. And that's one thing that I wanted to point out. We talked about challenges and barriers and being involved in programming and some of the challenges that come along with, you know, joining college for the first time is that, you know, some students, they just come to class and they think that that's all that they have to do. And they don't realize that we have put out there a lot of other support and engagement opportunities, because college is just so much more than just class. It's our programming opportunities. It's our opportunities to engage. And when students are engaged, they are more successful in college. And my office, you know, we try to put a lot of opportunities out there for students to engage, including student activities and programmings like the one that we're having right now. So, so yeah, if you would like to talk to me about that at all, or I'm here and I'm available for you.
Awesome, thank you. And then we have Dr. Joanne Alvarez. I remembered that. And what do you want to introduce kind of your role and your student org as well?
Sure. I'm the Director of Student Success and Retention, and really all that means is I work to empower the students with information that they need to be successful while they're here at Ivy Tech. I'm also the advisor to Goli Amigos, Graduating Outstanding Achieving Latinos and Friends, because not all of our friends look like us. So hopefully some of you will join me for the breakout session. Thanks.
Thank you. And then we have Mr. Chris Dowse. Do you want to introduce your department and role a bit?
Yeah, my name is Chris Dawson. I'm Director of Student Success and Engagement, and I help coordinate the Ivy Works program with Kristen Leonard. And I also coordinate the wraparound services for the college. So we're more than welcome to talk about Ivy Works and how that works with students who are receiving SNAP benefits, or to talk about the many wraparound services that we have here at Ivy Tech for you.
Thank you. And then Kristen, yeah, do you want to briefly introduce what Ivy Works is for students?
Okay, sorry, I had to unmute myself. Hi, I'm Kristen Leonard. So I am the Ivy Works navigator. So what Ivy Works is it's for any student who is receiving SNAP benefits. It's just an additional program for you guys to join and be a part of. It's a really great program. We offer lots of different support services. And we just talk about you guys earning a certificate through Ivy Tech to help you become more marketable in the future. And then, like I said, that main important key, just being some extra supportive services for you guys.
Awesome, thank you. And then we have Nicole Treesh, our library director.
Hi guys. Like she said, I'm Nicole, the library director. So I'm happy to share some of our services and resources available besides books, of course. A couple things I'll just mention is that we do have laptops for lending, and we are open. So we're one of the very few areas where you can still come in and use a computer and a study space and print and get some social distance support. So I'll be around.
Thank you. And Kara Rife, I'm not used to your last name yet, with 21st Century Scholars.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kara Rife. You may recognize me under Kara Kern, so there's still a little bit of a transition there, but I'm the 21st Century Scholar Support Specialist here on campus, and I am here to help with your 21st Century Scholar needs, helping you maintain your scholarship, any new updates that may be going on, and helping you complete your College Scholar Success program and everything that goes along with that. So if you are a 21st Century Scholar and you have any questions or need to chat, definitely jump into the breakout session.
Awesome, thank you. And then we have Meg Yocolette with Disability Support Services.
Hello. I'm with DSS, Disability Support Services, and we provide assistance to students who qualify for reasonable accommodations under ADA. Some examples of that would be for chronic illnesses or neurological conditions, learning disabilities, psychological impairments, mobility impairments, sensory such as hearing or vision. And so you would come to our office and we would discuss some reasonable academic accommodations. We also have what's called the Extended Classroom Support Program, where you would meet with myself or Charlene Delaney, and we would walk shoulder to shoulder with you, kind of getting used to my Ivy Learn, time management, and some of these issues that we just discussed today for first generation students or students with disabilities. And so, yeah, that's it.
Awesome, thank you. And we have Deb Ponzo with Educational Technologies. I'm hopefully not messing up kind of the name. And I don't know that sometimes students know about those resources yet. So I'm excited that you're here.
Well, thank you. I'm Deb, and I basically work with a lot of students, and I do everything that's Ivy Learn. So I can help you in any of your courses just to understand how Ivy Learn works. I especially help new students those first few weeks. But every semester we get a lot of calls from students who need help with books, getting their software set up, anything. So we can just help you in a lot of different areas, or if you just don't know where to go, call us or text us. And I want to shout out to Chrissy, one of my former students. It's nice to see you there. But you were here, the team is here to help you. So however we can help you, we can't do your work for you in college, but we can help make your experience better.
So thank you. And then we have Tara and Joe with Career Coaching and Employer Connections, CCEC. If you guys could introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'll start. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Joe McMichael with the Career Coaching and Employer Connections team, and Tara's here as well. So resources that we can provide. One is some of you may have known us as the Career Development Office, which is was right at the entry of Harshman if you were a student last year. But Career Coaching and Employer Connections team really here on campus is about providing additional resources for you all. So we are the new department that has the tools and coaching support to help you be successful in your career. And I think, from a career exploration standpoint, Tara is one, but we have 3 career coaches who can walk along with you in terms of helping you identify that career pathway that fits you, knowing that oftentimes students, stumble with that. But we also support students with resumes, cover letters, employability skills, which are very important. We could help you potentially with work and learn experiences, which we have 2 dedicated individuals within that. Could be interview preparation, networking. We've done a number of events. If you've seen those events from the career space, we're Career Development Week last week. We've done Career Camp. Tara and Joyce Baker have been doing weekly Transformational Thursdays. So we're here to support you at any point in that journey, and you just need to reach out to us and let us know what those needs are at this time. And Tara's on here as well.
And then, yep, we have Tara as well.
Yep, I'm Tara Q. Michael. I am one of the career coaches within the CCEC department, and just hope that we can answer questions or help you to be able to find that pathway that's right for you.
Awesome, thank you. And how it will work for the students, you can either put in the chat if there's a particular staff member that you want to connect with to learn more about their department. Or you can unmute your mic and ask that I put you in a breakout room with that person, and I can also take the request that way. So don't be shy, because we are blessed to have all these departments join us for this event, and everybody here wants to help. So
I also noticed we've got some folks from Warsaw. At least Alan is with us. If you want to talk a little bit about, Warsaw's we have a relationship with Fort Wayne, but I also know there are resources there for students who are, full Warsaw students or those who take classes on the Warsaw campus.
Yeah, you bet. Hi, I'm Dr. Ellen Decker. I'm Vice Chancellor here at Warsaw, and AJ Decker is with us too. She's our student life assistant. So we just wanted to listen in and add our voice of support. We partner with Fort Wayne on all of these kinds of services. So our students really take advantage of a lot of what you have to offer as well. Tara serves our campus through career coaching. And we also do a lot with local employers with Higher Ivy and other CCEC services. But, you know, we're a smaller location. And so we just love it when students come and take advantage of the services we can offer face-to-face or virtually. And that's why I asked the question, how can we reduce the stigma? Because we know that it's really the smart students who say, wait a minute, I cannot do this on my own. I need help and I need resources. And what are they and how do I get there? So we just want to be available for that. And we're just so grateful that we can utilize a lot of what Fort Wayne is offering. So thanks for this workshop today.
Thank you for joining us. I appreciate that.
All right. I think we're done. See everybody soon. See you soon in whatever form that takes for the time being.
All right.
Carrie,
Well,
do you need
thank you,
anything?
everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget to check out our events that we have going on for the rest of the week, and also events that we have ongoing every week through your Ivy Life account is where you see all the happenings that we have every week. And then also in your emails with your WhatsApp email that comes from me. So hopefully we'll see you guys at the next event. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Like your hair, Meg. Bye, Carrie.
Bye. Thank you. I'll try to come to your resource fair.
Y'all take care.
Bye.